can proceed on the next itinerary. Thank you.
Good morning, Shagun.
Good morning, sir.
Please, can you mute everybody, please?
Okay, maybe I'll know what to do now. Okay, I've done that. I'm going to unmute Zancy and let me unmute Engineer Funola Ojelade and our speaker. So I think we can proceed now.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Am I live now?
Yes, you are. Go ahead, please.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first edition of our e-learning platform for ACWEN. Thank you, NSCBI, for hosting us. And today we are having a topic, design thinking and engineering solutions, from engineer Ismail Balogun, the founder and chief executive of Balbus UK Limited. Welcome, engineer Ismail. Welcome. It's such a pleasure to have you here with us this morning. Hello, we can't hear. Hello.
I think it's having some issues with his mic. Maybe we can give him
some
minutes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
I can hear you.
We can hear you now.
Can everybody hear you?
Okay. Sorry for the itch. My name is, as you've mentioned, Ismail Balogun. It's my pleasure being with you guys. I really appreciate the opportunity given to me to exchange, I would say, a little bit of design and manufacturing knowledge I have cultivated for the past 30 plus years. And it is my belief that no one should die with a little knowledge they have. And the best way to enrich our society is to share the knowledge. And
okay, I would like to read a short profile of engineer Ismail Balogun for all, just to get things started on. So engineer Ismail Balogun is a presenter and over 30 years of experience in designing and manufacturing he's bringing to the table this morning. A seasoned mechanical engineer and an entrepreneur. He founded and run Balbus UK Limited, an engineering outfit that works with various companies for cost reduction and productivity improvement through engineering, design, and manufacturing. Balbus UK Limited services various industries, including automotive, pharmaceutical, MOD, oil and gas, and in the aerospace, providing services in machining, fabrication, assembly, and design of engineering components, injection molding tools, press tools, and bespoke equipment and tools. Mr. Ismail Balogun is a lover of Nigeria and believes in the future of our country. He's passionate about young engineers and seeks to help unlock the great potential in them. So as you can see all, we've brought someone with a great wealth of knowledge. Please get ready. I think the question and answers will start after your presentation so that we don't have too much interruptions. So please, I'm opening the floor over to you. Welcome, Mr. Balogun. Welcome, Engineer Balogun.
Thanks so much. I extend my greetings to everyone in the forum, and I hope we will all enjoy it. So I'm going to start by sharing my presentation. There are a series of slides which I will talk about, and then I will be open to any question. Thank you. As I've said earlier on, I believe it's so important for us to, can you see my slide, please?
Yes, yes, we can see your screen. I can see it. Can everybody else see it? I think so.
Yes, I can see it. So that means every other person can see it. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, okay. So I believe it is important for us to spread whatever knowledge we have and share with our own people. Knowledge is power, as they say, but at the same time, I believe that knowledge is the cure to poverty. So the more we share, the better it is. I will not waste your time so much on about myself. As you've mentioned, I'm Ismail Balogun. I was born in Lagos. I was born in Moshin. I'm 61 years old. I rather came into engineering in a pretty much old school European style. I had to go through apprenticeship, even though I was 20 years old. So I went through apprenticeship in Italy. And from there, I went to college and university because Italians, they tend to have hands-on approach to engineering. So I took Italian qualification, and coming to Britain, I decided to go back to uni and get British qualification as well. So I ended up taking a BEng and Masters in Engineering. I started working as a freelancer while working for a big engineering company, and that gave me opportunity to travel, to go to Russia, go to India, travel Britain, all over the places before I started my own business. And today, I would rather say I am not MD of Balbus. My son, Marcus, who is an industrial designer and engineer, he runs the business. And because I'm passionate about design, so I just concentrate on designing part of the business. Let's go to just show you briefly what we.
So before you go ahead, please.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, I just want to quickly. Yeah, I want to quickly just give a little introduction on how to use the application. So it's possible some people might find it very difficult looking at seeing the presentation because maybe they're on their phones. So in case you belong to that category, you can easily zoom in and out on your phone and you'll be able to have a better view of the presentation. And if you're in your system, I'm very sure you're going to have a very good feel of it. And when it's time for question, if you are on your phone, if you go to the section where you have more, you can easily raise your hand there. And if you're on your screen, just look around at the bottom of the screen, you will see raise hand. So once you raise your hand at the point in time when we're about to get the questions, you will be called upon based on how the hands were raised. Thank you very much, sir. You can go ahead, sir.
Okay. I'm going to be very brief on this about the company, about what we do, because Engineer Adebowale made mention about what we do. We're pretty much a greedy, I would say, greedy engineering company in the sense that we just design anything people bring to us, because we believe that engineering is about providing solutions. So as you can see on that slide, from designing a workstation to designing a simple grinding machine for tomato sauce, to designing lifting, zero gravity lifting equipment for assembly of automotive components in production line, to a company asking us if we could provide electrical solutions, to designing household items. So that is engineering, really. You just go in and provide solutions. So the reason why we're here today, it's about how we could combine design thinking and engineering solutions. Sorry, I'm trying to see my screen in a better way. Bear with me a second. I hope, can you all see my screen, or is it too big?
No, I think it's from my end.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. So there in industry, we have the designers and we have engineers. So and they have different approach to providing solutions. Now, design thinking is all about taking into account who is your end user, what is the most important thing to the end user, and then we stand them in their environment and try to understand their needs. So that is why we say empathy is so important to design thinking. And then we go to looking at identifying the end user's problem. You define the problem, and if you're lucky, you work in a team, you tend to brainstorm with your team to come up with a better solution. And some designers tend to work alone, and they use what everyone calls SWOT analysis to try and see what is the strength, the weakness of the chosen solution. And then they end up doing the prototype to see if the idea is good enough. And then you test your solution. Now, I belong to a sort of interactive organization, and we call it Design Interaction Design Foundation. As you could see there, the way they define the way they define design thinking. So they say design thinking is an interactive process in which we seek to understand the user, which is basically what I've explained earlier on. The challenge assumptions, redefine problems, basically what I've explained. I have two products there as an example, a basic cooking pot, and this is a complex, this is a high voltage traction battery, which we were to assemble onto Jaguar E-Space and Range Rover L494 in Solihull in the UK. So I'm going to use this as 2 case studies, and then I will show some other example as well. Now I will jump to engineering solution. The way all of us engineers, the way we look at problems, the way we look and approach problems is different from the way a designer looks at problem. Now, an engineer will ask a question. When you have a problem, you ask a question. What is the problem? Or if there are many, what are the problems? And then the next thing is for an engineer to start using his imagination combined with engineering knowledge. Once you have roughly the idea of what you want to do, then you start planning. Your planning as an engineer will include calculations, working from experience, put everything together. If you have to design an equipment or you have to design a product, you start working on that. So that's engineer. And then we build our plan, which is maybe we have to design it. Maybe it's a bridge, or maybe it's cooking pot. So we start designing. We put our solution then to test, because we've built and then we test it. If there is a mistake, we correct it, which is modification, improve the plan, and then we have it approved before we deliver to customer. So my next is, now this is a good example. All I've said till now would not make sense if I don't have an example to show to make it, give you guys a better understanding. As I've said earlier on, this is E-Space, Jaguar E-Space. We work on that. Our job was to insert this battery. Is for the hybrid, and it's 200 kilogram, very heavy. So the way we did the job, JLR, that is Jaguar Land Rover, our customer, they use the manual crane plus hook, as you can see on your left-hand screen, left hand of your screen, to insert onto the right-hand side. That is overhead carrier with the vehicle, that is the plant. Now, this is a good engineering solution, because what happens is you define the problem and then provide the solution. So they define the problem and then provide the solution, but they did not use design thinking. If they had used design thinking, they would think of the operator, the people who will be putting the battery in the vehicle. The manual crane, it's not really nice to push 200 kilograms. It's heavy. Now you can see the two wheels, they're very small. You will struggle. You will struggle. You will do the job, but you will struggle. because you have to push left and right. And also the image in the middle, that is the rear load space where the battery will go. You could end up damaging the body of the vehicle. So from engineering point of view, it works. You put it in, now and then you damage the vehicle. When the vehicle gets to the QC, quality control, they will throw it away. So now the best way is try to combine design thinking plus engineering solution, which is what I'm gonna show next. Now, the second example, I'm here to give you the answer to the first one, which is JLR Jaguar problem. The second example is the product design projects of series of cooking pots. As you can see, they're very beautiful. It meets the need of end user, but yet it's not perfect. It is fantastic, but it's not perfect. You have handle here, you have handle on the left, on the right, you have handle there, you have handle there, you have handle, you have handle, you have handle. Now, when you put this to boil water, to cook, the heat go to the body of your pots. Now, this one has heat isolator, so you don't need gloves. Can you see it? You don't need gloves. So you have a plastic handle. This has no plastic handle. This has no plastic handle. This has a extended handle, which will do exactly the same work as the other design. Now, the next thing is to show using engineering solution. How do I make this pot? The process is I draw that profile from a flat sheet of metal. That's fine. The handle, as you can see, is riveted. So what happens is when this is warm, it will transmit heat to the handle. So I need some sort of cloth or anything that could isolate the heat so that I won't get burnt. But is that a good solution? For some people, yes. For some people, it's not. So, as you can see in this eye circle there, what I believe is the problem. It is a problem because I am not able to isolate heat from the handle. So I see it as a problem. Now, if we move on, as I've said earlier, the best way is to take the best of both worlds. That is, take the best from engineering solution, take the best from design thinking. So what you have here is baskets. You pick and choose, mix them together to improve your service or your product. So now, optimal solutions are a combination of engineering solutions and design thinking. So if we go back to our first Jaguar project, this is manual crane. We use 4 hooks to pick 200 kilogram high voltage traction battery. We came up with, okay, we want operator to be able to pick 200 kilogram effortlessly. So the best way for us is to adopt engineering solutions plus design thinking. So as you can see here, this is the tool, the kit we design that will go into that eyelet. We'll go in, we use pneumatic cylinder, which is what you can see up there. With the pneumatic cylinder, what we do is we're able to push this white pin. It's L shape, it's that way and that way. So we push it into the hole, you lock it. That is safety. One. The second is we have series of push buttons to allow operator to balance the 200 kilogram. So basically you can put a little boy, a 10 years old boy, to lift that 200 kilogram. So we call it zero gravity. So you balance it. We use all the engineering principle we know, using pneumatics, understanding the load. So we apply the principle, and we didn't stop there, because when you combine design thinking with engineering solution, what you tend to do is you take end user as your customer forever for the whole lifespan of your product. So what we want operator to be able to go in front of the machine without thinking, oh, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go. There's too much wahala. I'm not impressed. I don't want to be stressing myself. So that became possible because we think of ergonomy, easy access, able to push the 200 kilogram from the back to front, left to right, and if operator wants, he was able to have the battery exactly in the middle between the left and the right wall of the vehicle, and just push forward the battery, and the battery was going inside and position it. So that is one example. The second case is this one here. Now, I will start with this port here. Because I have a long arm, what happens is when the pot is so hot, the heat would try to get to the pot, but we will reduce the heat flow rate, because what we've done is you can see the gap between the handle and the wall of your pot, of your cooking pot, but there is a connection. We did not rivet it, but spot welding. So you tack up, down, the same thing on the other side, up, down. You've connected your handle to the port, but you reduce heat emission to the handle by having gap there, because the air will pass through and will cool it down, will take quite a long time before the heat can get to your hand. So that is a good solution. Engineering solution combined with empathy for your end user. So that is one. The middle image is the same concept. If you look at the handle, it's not no riveting, it's spot welding. And then you can see that there is a gap there. That gap allows air to go in and cool, reduce the heat flow rate. So you don't need a cloth or a wood or whatever to hold. You can basically hold it with your own hand. Now the third image is also another solution, but it's good solution, but a little bit expensive because you have more components. Here you have just the handle, you have 2 handles. You have the port, 3 items. You make all these from the same material. Here on your right-hand side, you have cast aluminum. You need to coat it, you paint it. You need the handle to come from injection molding tool. And then you have the stainless steel there as the spacer, which is that one there, up there, is the spacer between your handle and your port. And then you need to screw it in. So it's a little bit, it's fantastic, but it's expensive. I guess somebody in VI will not have issue to buy that, but somebody in Mushi might struggle to buy, it might be too expensive. So that is the whole idea of design thinking. But then I decided I will look for few example that is so close. If anyone is living in Lagos will know Iyano Ipaja. I actually took these photographs long time ago, I think 2012, because I was looking at it's what happens when you're an engineer. You become a boring person, because when you go around wherever you go, you observe, you just keep observing. You're looking for how can we improve things. I don't know if it's bad or good, but that is the way we are trained, all of us as engineers. So I was looking at this. I'm not here to criticize the design. I'm here to discuss it with you, ladies and gentlemen. The design is excellent. It's satisfy engineering needs. But I really don't see it as satisfactory to the public, to the passengers, to the people that are going to use the bus stop. And also the lot of function that is just waste. We're in Lagos. Lagos is in Africa. We have God-given energy, sun. That bus stop should have light every evening at almost zero cost to the local government, Lagos State government, whoever is in charge, because that roof could just be solar panel. and you and me can go there, charge our mobile phone, either for free or at some small money for the government to generate fund. Now the image on the left, on the right, is a bus stop. We design. It's in a small town in the UK. We don't have much sunshine here. It's always raining in the UK. But then there we have advanced solar panel that can still absorb a bit of heat, and then you have it in you conserve it into accumulator, and you light you light up the bus stop shed. Now, if we go back to Yanoipaja bus stop design, shed design, I say a lot of waste, lot of work will give us money as local governments. I don't know which local government is that one. Yanoipaja local government, I don't know. They have a name. Sorry, that was a phone call. They could be having advertisement board on the side. They could do a lot of things and generate money. Each bus stop can generate money. People could be charging their phone. We know our people, they sell on the streets. It could be, they could design it in a way that could accommodate some of these street vendors. So this is just example of using and not using design thinking plus engineering solution. This is another example. This is just a pedestrian bridge. I was looking for, when I was in Nigeria, I took photograph of pedestrian bridge in I think it's Pangrove, Ikorodu Road. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the photo, so I'm not able to present that photograph here. If you happen to go along Ikorodu Road, I believe probably that bridge is still there in around the Pangrove. The design could be better. Unfortunately, it's not here, so it will be hard to compare it to this one. The design is fantastic, but I believe they didn't take into account who were Africans, were big people. We're not Chinese. Chinese are small people, and that bridge seems to be designed for the Asians. And then many people in Lagos, I saw quite a lot of people taking that's a pedestrian bridge at the same time, and I wonder if that bridge can take the weight, can really withstand the load, body mass of our people. We have averagely Africans were big bone people. Now this is an example of a pedestrian bridge. We did not design this. We're not into designing bridge. We're not civil engineering. But I just thought, I love it so much because it's all about meeting the needs of consumer end user. It's big, it's wide, the railing is higher, so it's pretty unlikely that one can tip over and just fall. So another example I have, and then I will open the floor to any question, is this. As you can see, mobile phone, this is Nokia, was designed in the 90s. If I put battery onto, if I put charge it, I can still use that phone. It's an excellent design. It's a combination of design thinking and a good engineering solution. The modern one is really excellent, but the only difference is I'm able to use it for the modern needs. Now, if I take you to the image on the right-hand side, that is a door. If you observe, you see that in most houses, when you open and close the door, you tend to hear some strange noise, because the noise comes from the hinges they use. Now, the middle images are the two different type of hinges. The one with my cursor is the traditional hinge design. This one here to the left, it's a good design. That's when you open the door tends to raise itself up. By doing so, your door would never touch the floor. And I believe it's a good design, and also it's apart from meeting the need of the end user, it also meets the needs of installer, because this particular hinge here, all you have to do once you've put that part on to the wall and this side to the door, all you have to do is to just raise your door and just put it in. Only one man can install many doors in your house. With a traditional one, you will have Oga and the boy to help him, and will never even be straight. So these are examples of intelligent design. So design thinking combined with engineering solution. And I just want to conclude by saying I thank you so much for the opportunity and your attention. If you have any question, I'm here to answer your question.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
We appreciate your wealth of knowledge and the simplicity of presentation. Thank you, sir. To go ahead, we have participants online, over 100 people, and I'm very sure they have various questions in their mind and also contributions. And just for ground rules, I deliberately mute the chat so that we will have less distractions. So now I'm going to put back the chat on. So in case you don't want to speak, you can as well put up the chats in the chat box and the question will be read out, or if it's a contribution, you can do same. And secondly, you can as well raise your hand to indicate you have a question or a contribution. I would like us to do that very fast so that we will not waste much time on these. So for those, if you have any concerns, just look around your screen. You'll be able to see where you can raise your hand. Maybe go to more participants and you'll be able to raise your hand. Once you raise your hand, you'll be called upon. And once you're called upon, you will be allowed to unmute your mic. So now, as participants, we can unmute our mic ourselves. So once you are asked to speak, you'll be able to do that. So we have 4 participants already who have a question or please, if you're not speaking, just mute your mic. If you're not speaking, please mute your mic. So we have 4 participants who are ready to contribute or ask a question. So we'll be giving each of them maximum of 2 minutes each. So we have Engineer Innocent. You can go ahead, sir.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we
Good
can.
morning, everyone, and thanks. I think you prefer. I didn't join initially when you introduced yourself, so pardon me if I call your name wrongly. Ishmael is your first name. So my comment is actually not a question. I see creative thinking. I see a charge for us engineers. Rather than dwell on things that are not working, all around us are opportunities that we can leverage and turn that into cash and income. Particularly the bit around the signage was quite fascinating for me. But I think we might need to see how we can unblock that space, given the monopoly of government and some of these bus stops actually. For instance, in the Lekki Road, the one that clearly comes to my mind is the signages around the Lekki Road. I think as part of the construct on PPP, they've privatized all signages on that road, and that actually is inhibiting innovation, because most of these infrastructures were introduced by government and it's part of their income streams. But that suffocates the innovation we're talking about. And that is where the private sector, with proper engagement, I'm glad there is a discussion on the Lagos traffic, which the chairman is going to anchor very soon. Those are possible areas of collaboration with NSC, and see if we can get some platform for engineers to express themselves, because you can imagine if you have a charging station on those bus stops, what that could do. And you could go one step further to even have solar panels installed so that it doesn't depend on any form of fossil fuel energy, so that people can be able to provide those services for the citizenry. But from a profit point of view, and also the culture in Nigeria, where there is a lot of vandalization, there is a lot of, the duty of care is lacking. My question is not necessarily to Ishmael, is if we push this agenda, how can you actually guarantee that when you have those infrastructure, it remains there overnight? Because there's so much mindset of destruction and people just not wanting to, think like every other person. We're a very destructive society, and probably requires a lot of collaboration, a lot of mass literacy campaign. But I think that's the way to go in terms of creating income for people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Zancy, would you like to take it up from there?
Okay. Sorry, it's like you. Sorry, it's like Shagun, you disabled the charts. Maybe you're not aware you did that.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, I've not activated. I'm aware. Let me activate it now. All right, so it's active now. Sorry about that.
Okay, I wanted to know if we have more comments and questions before I round it up. So I think we should take.
So there are 4 questions.
Okay, so let's take the questions.
My name is Inolia Pedeya. I'd like to make a comment because I need to go. So I want to thank the president of APWEN, Engineer Funola Ojelade, for setting this up in collaboration with the NSC Victoria Island branch. And I really want to appreciate Engineer Balogun for this awesome presentation. First of all, I want to ask Engineer Balogun when he's coming back to Nigeria to help us out. He can answer that later. But in addition to what Engineer Balogun has said, seriously, as engineers, we need to look inwards. I currently live in a house that I didn't design. And yes, it's a nice house. But talk about the stairwell. 2 people cannot stand astride on the staircase without one bashing into the other. Then as a woman, I want to comment about kitchens, because a lot of the people that design these houses are usually men, and I don't think they get it. That the kitchen is a place where you need to have a lot of ventilation and a lot of space for people to move around. My kitchen in this house, when 2 people are there, first of all, it's a burning furnace. So when 2 people are in the kitchen, then it becomes even more difficult. And also in this country where you know that our food is very nutritious and very healthy and very smelly, we need to find a way to remove those smells without them actually being transmitted into the sitting room or the adjoining dining room. So it's the heat, it's the ventilation, and it's also the space. I think the last thing we think about in designing houses is the kitchen. We just pop in a bit of floor area for the kitchen, and we don't think that people actually work in there. And a lot of heat is generated in the place. So that's my small contribution to this discussion. I really want to appreciate all of us for this lovely presentation today. And I think it's the way to go, especially now that we're all kind of homebound because of what's happening in the world today. And thank you so much, Engineer Balogun. But please come back home quickly. There are lots of things you can do to support us. Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions from the chat group?
We have Engineer Josephine. Please, you can go ahead. No, we have Engineer Josephine. She's raising her hand.
Okay.
Good morning.
All right. And
good morning, everybody. I really appreciate the engineer that has been talking to us. Despite the technical issue associated with the network providers, I was able to follow to some extent. Please, sir, my question to you is, during this scourge of coronavirus that is ravaging the whole world, what I read in the news is about engineers coming together, trying to improvise on their own, on how to procure their own ventilators, which is an essential commodity that every life of a victim depends on. With your wealth of knowledge, and as a Nigerian, do you have any plan on how to bail Nigeria out with this? Thank you very much.
Okay, Engineer.
Thank you, Engineer Josephine. Engineer, can you go ahead, please?
I hope this is coming up good. I'm here.
We have someone raising his or her hand. If you can hear me, please, you can speak.
Yes. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh,
yes,
okay,
we can hear you.
Okay. All right. So my name is Engineer Oluseyi Afolabi, and I joined Engineer Pede in thanking Engineer Balogun for an outstanding presentation. Everything he said has always been on my mind. And one of the things that I would like to bring to the front for all of us as engineers is exactly what he said earlier on, which is that everywhere we go, our eyes are trying to catch what the engineering design of that particular location looks like. Anything at all is designed by engineers and built by construction workers. So for me, really, there's a lot that NSC can do. I just put something on the chat group now that said, you know, we need to become a strong advocacy group with government. I know there's a monopoly of contract awards, and it's done solely by government, but I still believe that there are engineers, there are members of NSC that work for government. And so when these contracts are being awarded, how can NSC really influence that discussion so that you actually take into consideration the end user in the design? We don't have, you know, people from elsewhere. Like he said earlier on, when you design, your Chinese are designing something for Nigerians. They would design as Chinese. I remember taking the train from Abuja to Kaduna for the NSHE conference, and the seats were so low, and I knew it was because it was Chinese design. So as far as we're concerned as NSC, I think we need to get involved through our members, where they will be able to share with the society that, look, there's this contract that's coming up. How can NSC be part of it as an advocacy group? I think that will make the society even more relevant to our society today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. We have Engineer Adedayo. You can go ahead, please.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I just want to make a contribution towards what the presenter has said. It's about, I think, what we might need to really look into in the engineering environment is about standardization. There has to be this collaboration between all engineering fields, where we have standardizations on everything we do. For example, when we are designing roads, there should be a kind of like a set mark or a benchmark of what we do, vis-a-vis designing buildings, like the other engineer said about kitchens. When we have standards of what is expected in a particular place, we know we have exceptions of people who have challenges due to disability or whatever, but when we have standardizations within ourselves in every forms, I think it will make life easy for every engineer when we are designing and when we are presenting our solutions to different fields. So I think we've got a lot of work to do from the basics of what we do on present our standards even to the government. So if there's a design, we know what is expected of us and of that engineer in that particular field. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We have Engineer Bosse Deoyefunle. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much to our presenter. I would just like to corroborate the picture he showed about Yanokwaja bus stop. Yanokwaja being under Agege local government. But I think that's just what we have everywhere, almost everywhere around where we have those bus stops. And the one thing I learned about Planet One doing with the roundabout at Lekki by approaching the Lagos State government on a solution they can provide by reducing that bus stop. I believe that AppWen can collaborate with NSC and champion the cause of providing a solution to how we can redesign that bus stop. Right now, I can tell you that if you go to most of those bus stops, they are stores, market areas for women selling all sorts. So if we're able to repackage and provide a solution to a better use of that bus stop, I want to believe that hopefully we'll be able to penetrate through the right channel and the presentation will be accepted by those in power. But I think we should take it up from the point of view of providing a solution to how that bus stop can be redesigned, reused for the advantage of the populace instead of the big duplex, they've made it, and it's just used as a store by market women. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Bosede. We have Engineer Olatundu TE. Please, you can speak. Engineer Olatundu, are you there? Okay, we have Engineer Nimot. Maybe Nimota, I'm not sure. Engineer Nimot, you can go ahead and speak.
Yes, good afternoon, moderator. Thank you, our knowledgeable presenter. My comments will just be on the design standards that he emphasized and some other people have made.
Good afternoon.
We have quite a number of standards in Nigeria. We have the building standard, we have the highway standard. How often do we use them and review them? And what's our contribution? For instance, we are at home now. Some of our facilities will not be put into maximum use. By the time we resume, it will be overwhelmed because of the rush. Have we taken proactive measure to actually see how we as an engineer can look at our own local codes and ensure that they actually fit into our environment, our maintenance culture, and make us to be proactive, not reactive to some of these design, because we actually have a lot of standards. Building code, for instance, was put together well over 10 years ago and was supposed to be reviewed maybe 5 years after. But as at 2017 or 2018, when I did a presentation on it, nobody have ever looked at it. But these are done by government ministries. So instead of thinking of bringing something new on board, I think we should appraise what we have and see where we can actually domesticate some of those British codes, Euro code that we have adopted. How do we now domesticate them? How do we collaborate with research organizations in Nigeria that are doing a lot? How do we marry the academia research into our existing code to be sure that when we say laterite, we are looking at laterite. When we are using Coleman coal, they are suitable for Nigerian weather. When we talk of cars, when we talk of food, be sure that they actually localized. So that's just my little contribution. Thank you.
There was a question on the chat box, and the question is very simple. He said, what's your plan on how to engage in Nigeria? So I can't remember who sent that, but I saw that earlier. Zansi, you can go ahead. No one is raising their hand, and I don't think there's another question. Okay, Infinite S4. Hold on, please. In Infinite S4, you can go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
hello?
Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
We can hear you. Please speak on.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Engineer Lope from Ogun State here. Thank you very much, wonderful presenter, for that brilliant presentation. Okay, I think concern to me is the review of our contract policy in Nigeria, because let's say, for instance, so many of these power projects in Nigeria, the contractor would have been awarded the project before the design, and if you check the BOQ for so many of these power projects contracts, the quantity there will be a lump sum. So the contract will just be awarded blindly without the design. And at the end of the day, by the time they start the design, there will be problem in execution. And that is why so many of these NIPP projects, so many of them were abandoned. I remember last week I was in talk with somebody, and there is a project Hello. A project that was awarded in the year 1983 is still dragging because of so many of the design issues that were not trashed out at the initial stage. So I think NSC needs to be more proactive in this aspect of engineering contract policy. Also, the indigenous engineers, I think we need to be more involved. I know NSC is trying, Coventry is trying, but I know we can still do more because thank God in this administration we have more engineers in the ministerial list. But if we engage the indigenous engineers in engineering contracts in Nigeria, those are the people that understand the needs of the environment. And as the presenter said, when you combine the engineering solution and the design thinking, then you can get the optimal solution. So the engineer, the designer thinking too has to be localized because what works in China may not work in Nigeria here. And so I think if we can put all this in practice, there can be improvement in all these abandoned projects and this construction today, the destruction tomorrow that is associated with so many of these government contracts. So thank you very much for this presentation. And I think we hope to have more of this in the nearest future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. We have the last question. That's Engineer Titi. Please, you can speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you to Apwen and NSC for putting this together, and thank you to Engineer Balogun as well for the presentation. So my contribution or question will be on the issue of actually taking this design thinking and being able to sort of bring it up already from or starting from the grassroots. So let's say when we are learning engineering in the universities or through apprenticeship schemes or however it is. So is that something that possibly NSC and or Apwen could look into to sort of put together some sort of training courses? Because I know it's more focused to maybe construction or mechanical engineering, but I think this is something that will benefit all areas of engineering. I know it's implicitly, sort of, it's applied in the other aspects of engineering as well. So when you take some courses or modules, you get to understand how to think for your designs. But I think it will be a good way to sort of support the universities as well, to have like a sort of training or webinar put together for students or early career engineers as well. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's all the questions and comments. So maybe Mr. Ismail Balogun, you want to go ahead and respond to them?
Yeah.
Or Zanzi, you can go ahead and speak.
No, I think I was thinking the same thing. I believe Engineer Ismail would like to respond to all that. I've seen him taking a lot of notes and all of that. So we would like to hear your comments.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. We are waiting on your response to the questions and comments.
Yeah, your audio is off.
Maybe Shegun should unmute him. I don't know. But he's still muted.
Let me do that.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you. Oh yeah. I want to thank Engineer Innocent. About the bus stop shared design. The great thing about the engineering profession is we're never shy from providing solutions. We're so fortunate to have chosen this as a career when we all decided to be an engineer. You were talking about vandalism. I think that is where design thinking will come in and get married with engineering solution. If we design a bus stop shed for an area where we think there could be a series of problems, where we have to take into account that particular issue. And a good example could be just a charging port for your mobile phone. Imagine you have it in an area of Lagos where people can just dismantle it, take it away. So you want to think of how do I enclose it whereby you can't take it away. Would just be impossible. So in terms of collaboration with NSE, we don't have problem. We're open to all sorts of collaboration. I can assure you that we don't have any issue at all. The more people we have in Nigeria that can do a lot of things, the better it is for us. Because I will use Europe as an example. They push you, the society push you, they push everyone to learn, to come with an idea, and you share your idea. Because if I bring my idea out there, somebody copy it, good. Because you copy it, you will push me to look for a better idea. So we end up having a fantastic society, competitive society, in a very clean way, I would say. So I hope that answers your question, sir. Hello?
Yeah, you can go ahead with all the other questions.
Okay,
you can go ahead, sir, with other questions.
Yeah, Engineer Noli, I believe she left. She was talking about the kitchen design issue. Yes, it's possible. I believe that, I don't know, I left home long time ago, 40 years. I believe Nigeria should embrace industrial design. Maybe if we don't want to introduce it in university, they could perhaps start from some sort of vocational training in secondary schools. Just imagine if you're able to have welding skill or carpentry skill, by the time you get to university, you will not have issue to design anything. Understanding a bit of electricity will help you. Understanding the difference between resistor and will make a big difference. So kitchen design is pretty much into design thinking. If extraction of smoke from your kitchen is engineering solution. So all these are possible, but I will insist that NSC should encourage, make engineering really cool within the young people. Shouldn't be like Einstein. No, it should be cool. Like
it should be cool.
Like they do it here. You know, they encourage engineering. You know, so it's a fantastic profession. Engineer Luce Yafolabi mentioned about designing for society, the issue we have all around our community, are actually embracing design for Earth, which means your design focus on particular issue is so important. Is what most designers and engineers embrace. Design for environment, design for assembly, design for manufacturing. Actually, design for environment is another essential one for Lagos, if not the whole of Nigeria. Because I saw last time I was in Nigeria, I can't understand why environmental department will have ladies sweeping high street with broom. It's not efficient. They could have a cat, they could have a bicycle, they could have a Okada. These are possible. You could design, I could design a sweeper, a street sweeper, with Okada pulling it. So the end user is protected, the society is clean. The dust we get from Lagos street, we will separate it and sell some of the items. Nigeria is full of money. It's full of money. So I hope that answered the question of Engineer Oluseyi. Engineer Adedayo, collaborations between engineers, it is important. We can never ever move forward if we don't collaborate. I actually regret staying abroad for too long. If I could say so, because there is no better place for our profession than a place like our country, Nigeria. It's you're so surrounded by inspiration because the challenges are just too many, and without collaboration, it's going to be absolutely impossible for anyone to do alone. So once again, we are open for collaboration, and we have engineers, Nigerian engineers in the UK, that they're really keen to provide their own contribution. But we can only get to Nigeria through you guys. You are yeah, we're Nigerians, but you hold the keys to the room. So thank you. Engineer Bosse, they mentioned about the bus stop shed design. I think I've touched that earlier on. Bus stop all over Lagos, in my own opinion, we should redesign it. We should we should not throw away the market women, the hawkers. They have right to a living. So we need to design whereby they can still put their items around the bus stop, and the bus stop will still look elegant and will still be efficient, and the local council can still make money as well. So it's all possible. It's all possible. So it's just the matter of having that mentality of design thinking. If I have bus stop in Iyano Ipaja, at certain time of the day, the bus stop is just a mini market. So it could be designed in a way that people will rent. They will rent it. Maybe it could be managed in a certain way, like you will come to use the shed, this particular part of the shed, 2 days a week. Another person will come 2 days a week without obstructing the public. It's not possible. You can incorporate people management into your design, whereby whether you like it, we call it a foolproof design. Whether you like it or not, you won't be able to go to a certain area. You can see it, but you can't touch it. So you create that sort of solution. So it's not possible. I think that answered the question of Engineer Bosse. The Engineer Olatundu, I think the engineer left, I believe, because no question came from him. Nemot, Engineer Nemot was talking about uniform and
yeah, codes and standards.
Yeah, code and standard. How can I put it? I actually thought we have a standard in Nigeria. That was what I thought. I've never practiced in Nigeria, so I'm not really in position to pronounce myself on this particular issue. All I thought was we have a standard, and then we decided not to go with the standard, because I remember that things were working perfectly when I was growing up in Lagos. We have sanitary inspectors. They respect everything. We have street cleaners, and I'm talking of that I can remember late 60s, early 70s. So I thought we have a standard. If the engineers in Nigeria are ready to accept contribution from engineers in diaspora, I'm pretty sure people will be happy to come on board and work with you guys. It's something too big for me to make a comment. So there was a text message about how can we interact with Nigeria. Yes, I personally, whenever I meet Oyinbo people, they ask me, where do we come from? I always say Nigeria. People tend to say, I'm an African. Yes, I'm an African, but I'm a Nigerian first. So I am really keen to work with anybody in Nigeria. I want to learn from you, and I want to give also to Nigeria engineering. I want to learn from Nigerian engineering. I want to give a little bit of knowledge I have, and yes, I'm ready to have a good collaboration with Nigerian engineering. I think Engineer Tolu Lokwe was saying the same thing as well. And lastly, Engineer Titi was talking of how to take this concept to grassroots. Yes, it's a good idea. It's what I will buy. Would be nice to start giving our young people all this different method of practicing engineering. I am in a sector which is design and manufacturing. So we tend to design a lot. I'm open to introducing design thinking into our institutions is really a good thing. Thank you. I think I've covered roughly all the questions.
Yes, sir, you did.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you
much,
very much, sir. Yeah, Zansi, go ahead.
Okay, I'll just like to wrap it up for those people that probably dropped out and left. Some of the comments that Engineer Ismail made that just blew my mind. I think you're charging us about intelligent design.
Thank you very much, sir.
Also, yeah, we should design intelligently. I, for one, as a project manager, I know that sometimes the projects that is given is not the end user. So we need to keep the end user in mind. If a government awards a project or a contract, they're not the end user. We need to take in every single stakeholder into consideration when we're designing. We need to have a holistic view in our design. We need to design for the future. There are some designs that I've seen that, okay, you can design to accommodate certain things in the now, but in the future, things might change. There's a lot, like the design with the bus stops, all of that, they didn't take into consideration the environment that we're living in and the future. Also, I like the part that you mentioned that we should make engineering cool, because we need to attract the young force into engineering. And also, we also have a challenge in the apprenticeship area, because we don't have that model here in Nigeria. We go straight to the university here, irrespective. So in fact, I had to go to training school. I had to go to a technical training school on my own bill. So I like where you recommended that we should also incorporate vocational training in for younger students, so that way they can get the apprenticeship that they need. We have the IT, the industrial training here, where you take a year off from school, or 6 months to go and train, so that's about what we have here. Thank you so much, Engineer Ismail Balogun. This has been such an enlightening. I hope when next we call you, you'll always be available to us. Thank you, Engineer Funlola Ojelade. Yes, please.
Yeah, I think Engineer Funlola Ojelade and Engineer John Howdu should be given some time to speak.
To talk. Okay. All right. Before I put it. All right.
Yes.
Over to you, Engineer Funlola.
I would like Engineer John Howdu to speak first, if you don't mind. My chairman, VI branch, will you please speak?
My president, I'm honored.
Sir.
Thank you so much for bringing us this wonderful opportunity. Engineer Balogun.
Yes, sir.
Good morning once again.
Good morning, sir.
I've just registered you in my branch free of charge.
Thank you.
You belong to the Nigerian Society of Engineers Victoria Island branch.
Thank you, sir.
Please, we are desperate for your kind of expertise. We have an innovation committee, and that innovation committee has been struggling with a lot of initiatives. A lot of what you said just like directly, provides solutions to some of their challenges. And the chairman of that committee has been taking notes profusely. I will contact you sometime in the near.
Something wrong with the audio?
Can you hear? We can't hear him again. Plus,
I can't hear him again.
Yeah, I think it was the network, so it's probably trying to come back up. So maybe we'll just give him a few seconds. It was the network. Okay, but my president, maybe.
Okay, I'll be speaking while he's figuring that out. I just want to. I'm really pleased with this presentation. I'm happy the way it all turned out. I want to appreciate greatly Engineer Ismail Balogun for this presentation. He's actually a supporter of APWEN. We met him shortly before my inauguration as the president of the association. And when I saw the passion and what he wants to impact on Nigeria, I thought he should be the first to take this. So I'm very pleased that he has taken that, and everyone, we are going to be better for it. I also want to appreciate the so many people I saw online: Engineer Ijila, the chairman of NIMEKI, Engineer Sisi Kachi, and my past president Noli, and Engineer Idia Tamusu. And also quite a number of people joined us from the diaspora. Engineer Bayojeka Infa joined us from California. Professor Bamidele Adebisi joined us from Manchester University. Titi Ide, who asked the question, also joined from the UK. There are so many people. I believe that we have started something good, and that we'll go on with some of the some of the advice that we have, like the training courses on design thinking that Titi Ide spoke about. It's a good one that we are going to do in this, our e-learning platform. Thank God, sometimes when you have things that are really terrible, good things come along with it. If it were not for this coronavirus thing, we'll probably not have started this. So Upon will go on with this e-learning platform, and we'll eventually develop it into a MOOC, a massive online open course that a lot of people can benefit from. It's the least that we can do as an association that is helping the country. I won't speak much about the advocacy and other things that people have spoken about. It's something we need to do. We should not get tired of this advocacy thing. The government may not listen to us immediately, but eventually someone is going to listen, and we're going to be able to make the impact. Thank you. I hope Engineer John can join back now.
My president, you've said it all. I hope, I'm sorry I had a technical glitch here. You said it all. I don't want to take any more of your time. I will engage Engineer Ismail offline. Thank you very much for organizing this, and thank you for making such an awesome presentation, sir. We're grateful to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, from my side, on behalf of APWEN, we'd like to thank NSC VI branch so much for helping out with this setup. Engineer Ismail Balogun, we appreciate you. We're blown away. Honestly, this has been such a wonderful time. Engineer Funola Ojelade, able president of APWEN. We just want to appreciate everybody that joined in today. We'll still have more presentations coming in, and we'll be sharing out the login platform, the time, and all of that. Thank you everyone that joined in today for the comments, the questions. We really appreciate it. And nice smile. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll keep calling on you whenever we need you. And over to you, Engineer Shegun, please, to close us out.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I don't know, maybe I should say Engineer Zansi or Zansi. On a lighter note, anyway. Yeah. All right. So I'm sorry. I don't know if we can. I can see two people raising their hands. So I don't know, Engineer Funola Ojelade, if you permit them to speak, or we can just wrap up.
If they will make it quick, so that we don't keep people too long. We promised 1 hour.
Okay, a minute each, please. So, Engineer Zahara Din, can you please speak? Go ahead and speak, please. Okay, there's also someone else, Galaxy J6 Plus. Are you there? Okay. In the absence of both of them, thank you very much, everyone, for being a part of this. We appreciate your time and your efforts, the data, the resources. Also, just to remind you, let's continue keeping safe. Very soon, we're going to be out of this, and the lockdown will now be lock up, or rather, what would I put it? Open up. So thank you very much. Let's remain safe. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend too. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Hello, Engineer Robinson.
Oh yeah. Thanks. You had an awesome presentation.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks to everyone. Engineer Jonah.
So thank you, sir.
Engineer Easy, Anidi, Olatundun, Engineer Jelade,
Engineer Robinson Machi,
Kelechi, everyone.
Engineer, how do you online, please?
Over, please leave me. Engineer Ismail, I sent you my number, please.
Okay.
Please, can you just chat me out on WhatsApp? We need you. We really need you here. Please.
Don't worry, he's a member of your branch.
God bless you, man.
He was first
our branch.
But first is an appointment member.
Of our branch.
Okay, of our branch. But actually, he's an appointment member. He's one of the appointment members we have.
Okay.
My vice president, I recognize you, ma. My vice president, Engineer Elizabeth from Mina, I recognize you, ma. You are muted. You need to unmute yourself.
All right.
Thank you.
See you, everyone. Bye.
Bye, Sylvia Kelechi.